as we celebrate 100 years of scouting in Kenya, it is important to, first of all, recognize that the founder, Baden-Powell, and Lady Baden-Powell are actually buried in this country, in our city of Nyeri. And so, because of that fact alone, world attention with regard to scouting is drawn to Kenya. This is why on every 22nd of February, we have what we call the Founders' Day. And young girls and boys, scouts from all over the country, congregate in Nyeri. We normally would march from the Outspan Hotel until we go to the graveyard, where we lay the wreath and then have prayers and then move on. So I'm happy that very many young scouts, young Kenyans, have joined the scouting movement. And when we took over as the chief commissioner and the chief scout between me and Francis Olekaparo, the credibility of our association was at its lowest. I'm very happy that even as we celebrate now 100 years, which we'll be doing next week, we will be doing so proudly, knowing that scouting is firmly on its feet again. And because of this, even our own parliamentarians are taking this challenge. Only recently, during the delegation that I led to Seoul, Korea, the Honorable Eugene Wamalwa was elected treasurer of the World Scout Parliamentary Union. Again, in recognition of the fact that scouting in this country is taken very, very seriously. The fact that our own president is himself the patron tells you plenty. And we have enjoyed collaboration with the Ministry of Education, with the Teachers Service Commission, because we normally second staffers to man this organization. And scouting is all about volunteerism. It's all about servant leadership. It's all about, because as we affirm the scout motto every day, or whenever we meet, that on your honor you promise to do your best, to do your duty to God and your country, to help other people at all times, and to obey the scout law. This has been a wonderful, wonderful motto, and I can tell you that even those amongst us would have loved to celebrate 100 years. The late Mwalimu Nyaga, who was himself a chief commissioner at some stage, people like Musa Malemba, people who have stood and have seen the growth of the scout movement. We really appreciate, and I want to tell you that our target is to make sure that as many young Kenyans as possible, boys and girls, join the scouting movement. Those who are not scouts can also be the Girl Guides, and this is what we are saying. And it's wonderful. Our target is to make at least 1 million young people. Of course, we have other programs that deal with the fight against HIV and AIDS. We are telling young girls and boys that abstinence is the best way forward. You do not have to engage yourselves in premature sexual relations. It is possible for one to wait until you're properly married, and then you do your normal programs to raise up your own families. So these are values that are very important, and 100 years of scouting in this country have made the difference. You know, some of the issues that are facing us as a country, as a society, to do with integrity, to do with governance. If those of us who have been in scouting will always remember that a scout's honor is to be trusted. Yeah? Therefore, it's very difficult to find a scout engaging in corruption and doing strange things. Therefore, even those who want to be leaders in the future, the place to go is to join scouting. We have important issues to deal with, like climate change. So the next generation will find that we had put in place mechanisms that are important. That's why we are stressing planting of 10 million trees and planting more trees, and so that this country's tree cover can recover, because right now it's been dilapidated, we know that. And so these are some of the issues. You know, you plant a tree, it is not a matter for 10 days or 10 years. A tree can be another 100 years. And you plant more trees. That is proper vision. Because we want to bequeath to future generations a country that will be able also to be habitable, not one that is going to become a desert tomorrow. And then we in fact, as it is already, Kenya is a water deficient country. And therefore we have a lot of work to do in order to make sure that we look after the environment. And therefore, Scouts will be taking leadership, as I see, in the next 100 years, amongst other programs, of course, which have to do with the growth of the Kenyan society in general. My best moments are when I'm with Scouts, because a Scout is a brother and a sister to every other Scout. You do not, there you can afford to relax. And so this is so important, even for leaders, because I see Kenyans are full of tension. Yeah? They're full of suspicion with each other. They're fighting each other like you've never known. But not so with Scouts. And therefore, that's why I take the time to tell even these National Executive Committee members that if you want to do politics, this is not in Scouting. You can do it outside, because this is a very friendly organization, and Kenyans meet together and do wonderful. So that's what I want to say. Look at that picture where we were in Korea with Honorable Chris Okemo, with Eugene and myself wearing Scout uniform. And that we're not thinking much other than just friendship.